Good afternoon. I wanted to show you how to assemble the cams for a Necchi Supernova based on either the spinny disc top with the patterns underneath, and this tells you here the order of the cam numbers, and I've put it that way. You can see when you select the pattern it tells you the order, and or from the book like I've got here. So I actually have here this setup which I set up myself to do that pattern. But what I didn't realize when I was doing these, and I'm going to try and show you, is my first attempt was not exactly a resounding success, because there's a little secret with these particular cams that I wasn't aware of. So when we start with these cams, you start from the flat part on the bottom, and what you'll notice about, you start from there, sorry, you start with this tube thing, and what you'll see is there's this little tab here. That's really important because each one of these cams has a little slice in it that goes over that. But as you'll see on this circular shaft, there is only one of these little lips. And what's important to understand is the cams themselves. For instance, this is cam number 14. I'm trying to see if it's possible, if I can get the light good enough to show you. There we go. It's very difficult to reflect. So there's 14, but on this side, let's see if I get the light to reflect, it's 15. Now, there's a perfect example. Do you see how there's two slices on 15, but there's a line down there? What that means is that line always lines up with the notch, and that line and notch, in this case, have to go to that side. Otherwise, you're not actually getting cam 15. And that's something really important to understand. So let's see if we can illuminate this a little better. So that's better, yes. So what you can see is that line there with the number up. So with the number up, so what that means is, based on this, that is cam 15, and it is in the right place because that notch lines up with the lip. And that I found is important because I didn't always do that correctly the first time. So the number's up and the notch has to be matched. If there is no notch, as in on a perfectly symmetric, then you can use it either way. It doesn't make any difference because there's no line. So to make this particular pattern, what it says is disc 1, which is the bottom, disc 1 has to be number 14. So I've put 15 in here, so I need to flip that over to put 14 and make the line up. Then it says put disc 2, which is 21. So this 21, there is no line on this one, so I'm going to just put it on there. It's symmetric, so it doesn't make any difference. Okay. Then we've got, the last one is disc 27, and on this one there is again a line on that side. So what we'll do is we will put it, we'll line it up that way, and then what we have here is we put the top on. So once we've secured these perfectly in place, we then have our cam, and that's all it takes to line them up. Now the next part obviously is you have to read the book to understand what's going on to get that. What I figured out is that I wasn't quite sure what that meant, but when I tried it, what it meant is, it seemed to mean was repeat what went before, even though you've got left here, but I think it's so people didn't get confused and it was quite clear. I would be a bit surprised why they didn't just put left, it'd been much easier. However, that's what I figured out for this pattern, so it's a bit of trial and error to figure out if that meant center, if it meant left, it meant right, but it seems to mean what followed on before. So in this case, the needle position is in the left, the zigzag is set to 0, the design pattern repeater is set to 1, and then the stitch length is set to 0.4. Now I found my machine isn't exactly perfect, so I found that it's reading lower than it's actually giving, so I actually have to set mine at about 0.6 to get a perfect stitch. So I probably need to go in there and regulate that. It's probably a minor adjustment, I've just not needed to, because I've been able to get these patterns without any problem by just adjusting slightly above what it's reading for these very small numbers. But always practice a bit before just to check your settings, and I found it's worked perfectly. So I will show you a picture of this actually having produced a stitch, this particular stitch. So there you go, it's produced it. It's a very complex stitch. It takes a long time to sew something that long. But I did it. It took about 3 hours altogether of sewing all that. And obviously that's over the edge of the table. But it did a pretty good job. Almost perfect most of the time. Occasionally, like there, you can see it's not perfect, but who's going to examine it that closely? So I think it's a really quite a lovely stitch.